Hi, my name is Mary and I'm the creator of Earth Goddess's YouTube channel. I'm an amateur content developer, primarily identify as an artist and an activist. And I thought I would create this video for anyone who is interested in the person who's creating this content. I know when I get engaged in content that I really like, or a TV series, I kind of nerd out on the directors, writers, actors, backstory of how the story was developed, blah, blah, blah. So this is for those viewers. And I also, I've got a list here. I'm going to add a few links into the description of my other two YouTube channels. I have 3 currently, and also a link to someone that creates content that I view and follow in case they were interested, and also a link to my TikTok video. So I am braving the TikTok algorithms. So about me. Well, I'm an artist. I used to work in health in nursing, as a sort of aged care nurse, community nurse, and trainer for aged care community workers. So I have a background in health and I have a strong interest in public health. I started sort of becoming a bit of an artist a couple of years ago during COVID. Took me on a kind of journey of artistic expression that I was not expecting. I was kind of on the verge of a big kind of activism buzz, which included a few different ideas: networking with other movements, attending meetings of nurses union and workers unions and climate action sort of movement people with the indigenous rights people, and sitting in meetings and just seeing how all of that sort of stuff worked, because I had a huge interest in it. I recognised there was a need for activism for a lot of things in the country where I live in, Australia. And I also had ideas for street performance and some comedy, and I played around with a few comedy videos, but it kind of has been developing for the past 2 years with me. I'm very confident in myself with performing in front of people. I love filming myself on camera to kind of obsessive levels, and I also love editing my work and publishing it and spending time on the ideas are flowing. I can't keep up with the kind of ideas that I'm having and the characters that are coming to me. I hope you're enjoying the Earth Goddess content. There's a lot of swearing and smoking going on in my videos, okay? So I'm not trying to be like a youth health advocate here, although I am worried and concerned for youth at risk of suicide, youth at risk of becoming confused about their identity to the point where they don't know if they're a boy or a girl. I'm confused about the kind of equity, left, politically correct, woke movement overdrive that's going to affect lots of children and push sort of white children or non-ethnic children or mixed children into the kind of privileged racist category. I'm really concerned for this. I have a lot of concerns for a few different population groups, as you can maybe figure out from watching my content. Like I said, I'm not here to be like a role model for youth, but I will advocate for youth. The kind of people that I'm targeting my content for is even anyone basically, but it's primarily I want to give hope and inspiration to the people in society who just kind of fucking a bit over it, suffered like heavy injustices and unnecessary suffering due to negligence, either from families or systems, governments, governing bodies. There's a lot of us. And a lot of us probably smoke and swear and have, you know, opinions, and maybe even like starting to think outside the box a little bit when it comes to their reality and what's real and what's not, and determining, you know, what's going on in the world. They're able to, despite their disadvantage and their circumstances, you know, like of homelessness or drug addiction, or having to like be a sex worker, or going through like extreme domestic violence, men and women, totally getting fucked over by the judicial system, health system, Centrelink system, every system that steps on us. And just feeling like needing to be heard and acknowledged and not being. My content hopefully is for you. And I meet these people all the time in my community where I live, Mount Druitt in Sydney. We've got a reputation in the suburb of the rest of the country of being like scummy poor people. We are poor, we are disadvantaged, we're not scummy. There's actually a lot of heroes in my community that just, you know, don't know that they're heroes because the world's just been shitting on them, telling them that they're shit. So this is a huge like theme of my content. I'm just going to move on from that topic now onto the other things I need to cover, because I don't want to make this video too long. I know how time poor we all are in this manic, chaotic world. So I have another channel that's called Diary of a Witch Soldier 2022, because I sort of think I'm a witch, and not in a kind of hocus pocusy sort of Harry Potter way, in a kind of connected with nature, connected with my environment, getting synchronicities and symbols standing out to me in my everyday life with people that I meet or situations that I'm in, being a kind of mystic, being in touch with the ancestors and even nature spirits. Weather reacts to me. This is what I experience, so I kind of can't help but believe it if I'm experiencing it. Okay, so I have a channel dedicated to that in terms of like my thoughts of that, imaginative videos about what that's like. So if you're interested and you're like, you think you might be like this, and a lot of us white witches are like this, and we don't really feel like we fit in anywhere because they're kind of like deleted our history. And if you know where to look online, you can find, you know, places of information and help and assistance with what it's like to live in a modern world when you're like this. I've placed a link in the description for that if you're interested in that. And this is for men too. Men can be, they're not witches, there's another name for them, but the Vikings had them. You know, if you've got Scandinavian or like Denmark, Finland, Norway sort of blood in your DNA, which I found out that I did two years ago, you're a Viking. But essentially the Vikings weren't Viking raiders all the time. They were seasonal raiders, and when they were raiding, they were termed Vikings. Then they got totally Christianized and the culture got sucked out of them. I'm not saying I'm a pagan and do rituals and sacrifices, but I've got a connection to that world definitely because I'm in touch with my ancestors and my history. And I'm very proud about it. So I'm also going to put a link to AriTh Harger, who is sort of in my generation group who has a lot of academic background information into this sort of topic of what I just discussed with the kind of white ancestry, Viking blood ancestry, and the kind of figures and prophets and sort of nature witches that they had back then. That really helped me to just believe in myself so much and not feel so alone and isolated and like I was going crazy. So I'll put a link for his channel in there. And then I'm also going to put a link for my Gummy Bear channel, which really is not getting any traffic at all, but I put some of my, my theories, the things I'm investigating, potential conspiracy theories, truth investigating, and just like no limits, no filter on my opinions on topics such as drugs, government, oppression, mental health injustices, the kind of spookiness and unreal, sort of unnatural sort of nature of where we're going in society, things from a collective viewpoint, different population groups, advocate for men, advocate for children, advocate for Earth's people, Indigenous people, any kind of people really. And I'll put that link in there for that channel if you're interested in exploring some of those topics. Otherwise, just stick on this channel, because this channel's probably the best stuff in terms of like things being edited well and a bit better. I mean, I'm an amateur, but like kind of the videos aren't just me ranting about a topic. Like they've got a beginning, middle, and end, and like for curiosity and imagination. My imagination is massive. It's like a child's imagination. I've let it blossom and develop over the past 2 years. And it's coming up with some surprising results. I've got so many ideas of characters. I've just introduced a new character, Quinn. She's sort of made an appearance in a few of the videos, but we haven't been given a backstory of her, so she's in there. And Auntie Ange, I've been trying to summon. I made 4 videos of her last year that were fucking phenomenal, that I'm still getting wisdom from, that I'm still getting insight from, that I'm still getting new ideas from. It didn't make sense to me what she was saying before. Some of these characters come into me and start saying stuff that I never even thought of before. So I'm kind of commandeering her personality a little bit now, and I do like to put on a lot of makeup. A lot of the time it's because I like dressing up. I like to put different hair, wigs, style, makeup on, because it actually soothes me when I'm anxious, but it also hides the fact that like I'm super tired and probably look like shit as well. So and also I just wanted to give you a quick squiz of some of the kind of art that I do. So some of this freaky art. So this is a sword. My mum made me this sword. It's amazing that she made it and gave it to me. It's really the only kind of thing she's done for me that's contributed to my life. Sorry, Mum. So I'm making this at the moment. I used to run a kind of community op shop, donation store, and I had these body mannequins, and not doing the store anymore, but using the mannequins. Some of the themes that I'm thinking about lately at the moment. This is kind of like a soldier. And I'm in the middle, it looks a bit shitty, but I'm making a second one, which is like this. That's yucky. I've been putting on adhesives, and it looks yucky. So anyway, I'm gonna make that one look like Earth. So we've got the Earth mannequin, and then we've got the War, Justice, Retribution mannequin soldier with the guidance of the planets. That's meant to be Saturn and Jupiter, and I'm going to add Moon and Mars and Venus, because I'm kind of into a bit of planets astrology, but I'm not so much into his horoscopes and judging people's personalities from astrology. But I understand that there's some hectic things going on with the planets that affect Earth, weather, global events, government movements. For instance, like Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces are kind of having a meeting at the moment in space, meaning that when that last happened, it was the American Revolution, and we had flooding. So we're having a flooding at the moment. I'm not saying we're having a revolution. I don't want a revolution to occur like it happens in Iraq and South America, where, militia go in with guns and overtake the government. I think the government's doing a rubbish job, but it doesn't mean that I want to tear it down in a violent way. I just want to make that clear. Things need to change. It's individuals, perception change, less ignorance, less judgmental kind of views and biases, more kind of acceptance and connection of others that are a bit different and outside the box than us, and just holding on to hope. Because life is a struggle. It's full of despair and suffering and injustice and unfairness and disappointment. And it's hard for people to hold on. I speak for these people who've survived suicide. I just want to say that one of the big motivations for my work is a story of my cousin who grew up together. We had a lot of alignments together as adults. Last time I was with him, he was living with me and my family, with his family, and unfortunately he had a really bad drug addiction and he was starting to behave in really scary ways. And I had to tell him to leave with his kids and his missus, but I told his missus, you and the kids can stay here if you need somebody to be safe. But I don't want this getting to a situation where we have to call the fucking police in here. Because I don't think we should call police on family unless, you know, obviously really, really, really a danger of being dead. And your children are at risk, then yeah, by all means. So I didn't want it to get to that point. And then sadly a couple months after that, he committed suicide. And it sat with me for years. I felt guilty and responsible about it. But I've now placed responsibility on mental health because he actually, the day before he committed suicide, it was a Sunday or Monday. Sunday, I think, he went to the Orange Mental Health Unit in Orange, New South Wales, Australia, and tried to admit himself for help. And they turned him away. They said, come Tuesday, or because it's a public holiday on Monday or something, come on Tuesday when the doctors are here. We can't help you right now. And he didn't make it. He killed himself on Monday, that Monday. And I believe this is due to like poorly run health system, poorly funded health system. This happens a lot to people in our society who are kind of like secret heroes that have been battling really heavy issues for years and weren't getting the kind of support that they needed, that they deserved. And sadly, 5 years prior to this, actually his little sister, younger than him, committed suicide. Like these people were young when they committed suicide. They were under the ages of 30, 35. She had a terrible life. He had a really rough life as well, but you can imagine living without your sister for 5 years knowing that she's dead would really hurt you, be difficult to keep going on. She had some pretty strong battles in her life as well, like when she moved to Australia from New Zealand, you know, she gang raped multiple times and negligent from parents, things like this, broken family. So, you know, sister's gone, he's gone, there's my cousins. And then sadly, not so long after that, the mother actually committed suicide as well. Because when you got a family member who's committed suicide, you have a huge risk of committing suicide yourself. And suicide is a problem in our society that we need to manage as a society. We all have a community, responsibility, obligation to create a society where people are not wanting to kill themselves because their life is that shit. And I feel really strongly about this. So there is some heavy, dark themes in my content. And I'll just move on from that topic now because I wanted to introduce a character who you see a bit of, Timmy, the transgender robot AI. I'm a bit mean to him or her. I just want to make it clear that I'm not being mean or derogatory to trans people when I'm being mean and derogatory to Timmy. I'm being mean and derogatory to Timmy because he's a useless AI that doesn't do his AI job properly, and he's meant to be here and all helpful and subservient to humans and goddesses, and he's just absolute rubbish. And he spends more time worrying about whether he's a boy or a girl and how his hair looks than actually being a proper robot. So basically Timmy is like a robot version of Siri. You know, and Siri's are fucking annoying, useless too sometimes, and we all have our little abusive moments with Siri. So that's what that's about. I'm trying to learn more patience with Timmy. Timmy is, I think Timmy is replicated because he's helping out a lot of the goddesses. And the message with the Timmy in the videos is that I'm trying to get people to realise that we don't need these AI helpers. We don't need these Siris. We don't need these ridiculous robotic man-made things to make our lives easier and better and more fun. We can be proactive and do things for ourselves, make our own lives what we make it. You know, we don't need this fucking AI shit. I'm not saying AIs are evil. When I talk about AI takeover in my videos, I'm not actually believing that the AIs are going to take over and want to be in power and control. No, AI robots are not like that. Humans are some of the evil, powerful, rich, elite ones. They're the ones who I don't want to have anything to do with AI. And AI regulation is something that I'm very feeling strongly about, as well as climate action. And justice for people of Earth. And I'm going to end that video here. I'll add the links into the description. Thank you very much for watching my content. And hold on to hope wherever you find it. You find it in the strangest places sometimes.